9 years with Marcus, and we had divorced 10 times. The 11th time, he was with his mistress, Savannah, choosing an engagement ring. Savannah is pregnant, so we need to divorce first. We'll remarry in 8 months. In the meantime, you'll move out, but your daily meals will be delivered on time. I held the divorce papers and nodded obediently. Silently, I sent a message to the man on the other end of my cell phone. The divorce papers are finalized. When are we getting our marriage license? He replied quickly, tomorrow. I'll take the earliest flight back. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you are listening from. Immediately after, my debit card received a transfer of 52 million. The memo read, pre-wedding gift. I curved my lips into a smile, tucked my cell phone back into my pocket, and prepared to leave. Marcus noticed my ill-timed smile. He called out to me, displeasure in his voice. Grace, what are you smiling at? Don't tell me you're so heartbroken you've lost your mind. By all accounts, I should have been devastated. The first time Marcus suggested divorcing me for Savannah, I cried for 3 days and 3 nights. I begged him on her knees in front of everyone not to leave. In the end, I attempted suicide in despair, but it still didn't make him turn back. But this time, I faced Marcus calmly. Congratulations on finally becoming a father. Marcus nodded. His indifferent words carried a hint of perfunctoriness. Don't worry, we'll remarry after the baby is born. As long as you're obedient, I'll have this child call you mom in front of others. In 9 years, I had heard similar words too many times. The first time, he was smitten with Chloe, the new intern. Savannah didn't want to be a mistress, so Marcus immediately divorced me. After sleeping with Savannah, he smugly showed me photos of them in bed. From then on, Marcus became completely obsessed with that feeling. While intimate, entangled in a snow-covered cabin, he made me walk dozens of miles through the wind and snow to deliver birth control pills. Whenever was slightly displeased, Marcus would divorce me to appease her. Afterward, we would quietly remarry to maintain the family alliance, marriage. This repeated for 9 years, and I had long since become numb. I walked expressionlessly towards the door. Suddenly, I heard Savannah's angry voice. I don't like any of these rings. I want the one on Grace's hand. All right, I'll get it for you right now. Marcus's coldness from moments before vanished. He roughly pulled the ring off my finger and carefully held it out to Savannah. The small diamonds cut my finger. The 10-carat yellow sapphire was stained with blood. Savannah frowned, glanced at it, and casually threw it away. Marcus still didn't get angry. He patiently coaxed and persuaded her again and again. Finally, he promised to give her the family heirloom ruby ring, which satisfied Savannah. I fought back tears, trembling as I tried to pick up my mother's keepsake, but suddenly raised his foot and stepped on my hand. Grace, it's all your fault for upsetting Savannah. If you can't appease her, you'll never set foot in the Vance family again. Hearing that, I instinctively shivered. It wasn't because I couldn't bear to part with Marcus, I just knew his methods too well. Once, I refused to wash the lingerie Savannah had worn. Savannah pouted and ignored Marcus. Marcus, enraged and frustrated, stripped me naked and locked me on the balcony. That night, the two of them were quite intimate until dawn. While I was freezing, suffered a high fever, and fainted. Thinking of this, I reluctantly lowered my head. I bent my waist to a 90-degree angle. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Before I finished speaking, Marcus kicked me from behind. I lost my balance and hit the counter, a large bruise swelling on my forehead. The intense pain brought tears to my eyes. I lay on the ground, my body trembling. Marcus hissed, nudging me with the top of his foot. I just accidentally bumped you. Who are you putting on an act for? Forget it, I'm too lazy to argue with you. Come back with me tomorrow and say you wanted that ring. I'm warning you, don't say a word out of line. With that, he practically fled, pulling Savannah with him. It took me a while to recover and get up from the ground. Gravel was embedded in my skin. I stumbled to the roadside, intending to call a taxi to the hospital. Suddenly, I saw Savannah driving her car, heading straight towards me. With a loud crash, I lost all consciousness. In a daze, I heard Marcus and a doctor's conversation. Grace had a miscarriage? Don't worry about her. As long as Savannah's baby is fine, transfer all the doctors and nurses to Savannah's side. I'll watch her here. Marcus pushed open the door and entered. The moment our eyes met, a hint of awkwardness crossed his face. He spoke awkwardly. I didn't know you were pregnant, but a miscarriage isn't a big deal. it's not the first time. Without this baby, you can focus on taking care of Savannah's baby. I didn't speak, but I inexplicably recalled my first child with Marcus. At that time, Marcus had just started dating Savannah. The young girl cried and made a fuss, saying she didn't want to break up someone else's family. To put her at ease, Marcus forced me to take abortion pills. While I was bleeding heavily and clinging to life, Marcus and Savannah were quite intimate in our marital home for 3 days and 3 nights. Dozens of used condoms were piled in the trash can. From then on, I had no expectations left for Marcus. Seeing me lower my head and remain silent, Marcus handed me a bowl. I made soup for you. Drink it while it's hot. As I raised my hand, a sharp pain shot through my arm. Before I could ask, Marcus guiltily turned his head away. Savannah was injured in a car accident, and she's vain. I was afraid she'd scar, so I grafted a piece of your skin. I was filled with shock. Marcus, however, inexplicably lost his temper. If you hadn't suddenly darted onto the main road and scared Savannah, how would she have gotten hurt? This is all your fault, you must take responsibility. He was so agitated that he knocked over the soup on the table, scalding a large red patch on my thigh. I fought back tears, wanting to press the call button. Marcus gripped my wrist again. Savannah feels unwell after surgery and needs a doctor's care. Just bear with it, and it'll pass. Blood seeped from the wound on my arm. Just as I was about to speak, a doctor rushed in. Mrs. Rejection reaction is significant, she needs another surgery. Hearing this, Marcus immediately grabbed my hand and dragged me over. Seeing a teary-eyed Savannah, his eyes held unconcealed heartache. Don't be afraid, Savannah. Grace has plenty of skin. If one time isn't enough, we'll try a few more times. The doctor quickly stopped him. Mr. Marcus, that absolutely won't do. The surgery is very damaging to the donor. Another one would render Mrs. Vance's arm useless. How would she play the piano then? Marcus pushed me away without a second thought. It's fine if she can't play. Savannah can take her place as the orchestra principal. You can stay home and do the laundry and cook from now on. I'll support you for life anyway. To ensure the surgery went smoothly, Marcus specifically ordered that I not be given anesthesia. Seeing me pale and drenched in sweat from the pain, he seemed a little remorseful as he patted my shoulder. Consider this one a favor I owe you. I'll come home more often to be with you in the future. Savannah behind him made an impatient clicking sound. Marcus immediately turned around and pulled her into his embrace. He made transfers, sent gifts, and even promised to take her on a vacation to Maldives. He completely forgot about my existence. Until my cell phone rang, interrupting Marcus's incessant plans. Looking at the fam. Your name, the pain seemed to subside. I briefly reported that I was safe. I looked up and met Marcus's suspicious gaze. Whose call was that? A Vance family member. Marcus showed no surprise. After a warning not to tell grandfather, he didn't press further. Because in his eyes, it was impossible for me to associate with other men. After he got married, he forced me to cut off all social ties. I didn't want to deal with the flirting couple behind me, so I picked up my cell phone and prepared to leave. As I stood up, I suddenly felt a wave of dizziness. Just as I was about to fall, Marcus caught me from behind. A hint of worry flashed in his eyes. Once your injuries heal, you can come with us to Maldives. Get some good rest. No need, I said coldly. A while ago, Marcus took me on vacation, saying he wanted to make up for a honeymoon trip. But he ended up abandoning me, penniless, in a foreign country where I didn't speak the language. I was almost trafficked and only returned after great difficulty. This time, I wouldn't fall for it again. My indifferent attitude displeased Marcus somewhat. He habitually wanted to scold me. But after seeing my bloodless face, he silently swallowed his words. Then you should rest well. I'll bring you a gift when I return. I gave a self-deprecating laugh and didn't reply. I went to get my checkup report alone. Everyone at the hospital had been transferred to Savannah's side. After waiting for a long time, Chloe, an intern, finally arrived. She looked at me with a pained expression. The car accident wasn't severe, just some minor abrasions. But Grace, this is your second accidental miscarriage. If you don't take good care of yourself, there will be lifelong sequelae. She wanted to offer a few more words of concern. But then, she was urgently called to do Savannah's prenatal checkup report. Their hushed discussion reached my ears. Why are you fawning over her? Everyone knows she just had the title of Mrs. Vance. Mrs. T. He won Mr. Marcus truly cherished. Now that Miss is pregnant, Grace will be kicked out any minute. No matter if it was at the company or anywhere else. Anyone who spoke up for me would be fired by Savannah for various reasons. I didn't want to implicate innocent people, so I clutched my prenatal checkup report and left silently. On the way home in a taxi, fireworks exploded across the sky. The driver glanced at them a few times, unable to help but sigh. I heard the CEO of Vance's wife is pregnant. To celebrate, they're setting off fireworks for a month. Rich people really do dote on their wives differently. Thinking of the 2 children I had lost, I felt intensely pained. I could only look down at my cell phone to distract myself. But the news headlines were all related reports. Marcus had bought out all the baby supplies in the city. As I read, a surge of bitterness welled up in my heart. When I lost my first child, I cried all night, unable to sleep. I wanted Marcus to accompany me to pay respects at the grave for the child. But he accused me of being bad luck, spoiling his and Savannah's mood when they rented a hotel room, and left me alone in a remote mountain area. It turned out Marcus didn't dislike children. He just didn't like me. I sighed, dragging my exhausted body back to the estate. As I was packing my belongings, Marcus returned. He looked at the suitcase in my hand with a puzzled expression. He seemed to feel a little remorseful. Well, you don't necessarily have to move out. I know you can't bear to leave me. You can stay in the guest room. Savannah is generous, she won't make things difficult for you. The various wounds on my body ached faintly. I shook my head. We're divorced. There's no reason to keep living here. I don't want anything else. Just give me back the shares from my dowry. Marcus looked as if he wanted to persuade me to stay. I added, lest be unhappy when she moves in and sees my things. Upon hearing this, Marcus quickly opened the safe. He rummaged for a long time, finally finding the crumpled contract under the table. He explained dismissively, last time, Savannah and I were quite intimate in the study, so I just grabbed it to use to prop up a table leg. I lowered my head, trying hard to smooth out the creases on the contract. But tears flowed uncontrollably. Marcus, you're too much. My mother, before she died, had given me everything so that I would have a good life. Yet, all that effort was treated this way by Marcus. This was the first time I had shown such vulnerability in front of Marcus. For a moment, he seemed flustered. I didn't mean it. Your family's shares aren't worth much anyway. Can't I just compensate you double? Marcus pulled out his cell phone, ready to make a transfer. He had only input half the password when Savannah called, saying she was afraid of the dark. He tucked his cell phone back into his pocket. I'm going to be with Savannah. It's not safe for you to move alone late at night. Let's talk about it tomorrow morning. Remember to bring a sugar-free breakfast to the hospital before you leave. I ignored Marcus's demands, dragging my suitcase back to my room. When I woke up, my cell phone had 2 messages. One was from the man. See you at the courthouse at 1 p.m. One was from Marcus. It's going to rain. Your body isn't well yet, don't rush to move. Rest well at home, no need to bring food. I'll take Savannah to the Sky Garden to eat. In 9 years of marriage, this was the first time Marcus had reported his itinerary to me. And it was the first time he had shown me concern. Unfortunately, it was too late. I silently blocked his number. After a final check of my luggage, I prepared to leave. Just as I stepped out of the front gate, I suddenly saw Marcus get out of his Ferrari, his face filled with rage. With a grim expression, he slapped me hard. You're such a conniving woman. You act virtuous and generous in front of me, then turn around and go tell grandfather, instigating him to cut off my debit card. I was supposed to reserve the whole place to propose to Savannah today, and you ruined it and made me lose face. From today on, don't even think about remarrying me, and don't ever think about entering the Vance family's door again. Even after hitting me, Marcus still wasn't appeased. He forcefully kicked my suitcase, breaking it, and threw it into the swimming pool. Seeing the dowry my parents had painstakingly prepared for me soaking in the water. Ignoring my buzzing head, I plunged into the pool. My unhealed wounds quickly reopened and bled, staining the water red. After I had retrieved all my belongings, my entire body was swollen, my skin so pale it was almost bloodless. Savannah feigned an offer to give me a coat, but her hand twisted hard on my wound. Do you think you can relax and be carefree just because grandfather supports you? Marcus loves me, and I'll be the only Mrs. Vance. We're getting our marriage license this afternoon. You can just cry with your divorce papers. I gasped for breath, clinging to the edge of the pool, in too much pain to say a word. Marcus spat at me, then put his arm around Savannah and walked away. A kind passerby took me to the hospital. During this time, Savannah continuously sent me provocative messages. When I had my car accident, Marcus hung up my call for help because he was with Savannah at a concert. When I was dismissed from the Vance family board for leaking documents, it was also Marcus paving the way for Savannah. The company, the estate, and even the old Vance family estate. Marcus had taken Savannah to sleep in every corner of the city. I knew she was trying to make me give up. But what she didn't know was that I had already stopped loving Marcus. I turned off my cell phone and went alone to the courthouse. All I could think about was my man who had been waiting for me for so long. He handed me the marriage certificate and devoutly placed the engagement ring on my finger. I'll go get the car. I'm taking you home. No sooner had he left than Marcus walked in, arm in arm with Savannah. Grace, I told you I wouldn't remarry you. Don't cling to me. You misunderstand. I'm not clinging to you, because I'm married. I didn't want to listen to Marcus's accusations anymore. I interrupted him, silently raising the marriage certificate in my hand. Marcus's face instantly changed color. Married? Who are you married to? You're my wife, how can you marry someone else? Ignoring beside him, he quickly walked up to me. Tell me, what is going on? Seeing's jealous expression, Savannah's eyes filled with envy. She forced a smile and leaned close to Marcus. Brother, the color of this marriage certificate looks strange. It's clearly a prop. Sister must be afraid you really don't want her anymore, so she's deliberately putting on an act to get your attention. This explanation comforted Marcus well. He looked me up and down and sneered. Yeah, who would even be interested in someone like you? Now, hearing Marcus say this, Brenda, who was behind him, impatiently knocked on the table. Young man, marriage is a solemn and serious matter. Who would joke about something as important as marriage? Look closely. Mrs. Marriage Certificate has an official seal, it can't be faked at all. Mrs. New husband is tall, handsome, and well-mannered, infinitely better than some spoiled brat. Listening to the chatter, Marcus's face grew darker and darker. He didn't, as he had before, try to exert pressure with the Vance family's power. Instead, he reached out, trying to snatch the marriage certificate from my hand. I don't believe it. I don't believe anyone would dare to go against the Vance family, dare to steal my woman. Something I've played with, even if I throw it away, no one else should pick it up. I want to see who's so bold. I'll make them bankrupt tomorrow. My unrecovered body was no match for Marcus. Soon, he snatched Th. marriage certificate. Marcus opened it, infuriated. The profanity that was about to escape his lips stopped, and he stammered, how could it be him? At the same time, a tall figure appeared behind me. He held a bouquet of vibrant roses in one hand and protected my waist with the other. He said softly, don't be afraid, I'm here. Marcus's face turned completely pale. His disbelieving gaze darted back and forth between me and William. Savannah, not understanding what was happening, lightly tugged on Marcus's sleeve. Brother, why are you staring at Grace? Are you still carrying a torch for her? She can marry whoever she wants, you're divorced now, so it doesn't matter. Let's hurry and get our marriage license. I can't wait to marry you. This time, Savannah's sweet voice failed to earn Marcus's affection. He clumsily pushed Savannah aside. He seemed heartbroken as he explained. Grace, this is all fake, isn't it? I know I was wrong. I won't mess around anymore. Let's go home now. I'll live honestly with you. Seeing us holding hands, completely ignoring him, Marcus spoke more and more anxiously, even sounding a bit deluded. You're doing this to get back at me, to teach me a lesson, so you deliberately found someone to put on an act. Otherwise, why would you marry my older brother? William looked coldly at his misguided younger brother, gripping my hand tightly. When the Vance and Shin families arranged their marriage, it was because I loved Grace too much, so I chose to let her go to you, burying that love deep in my heart. I knew you were similar in age and grew up together, and that she had loved you since childhood. For me, her happiness was more important than possessing her. But what have you done? Marcus's lips trembled, unable to utter a single word. In this intermittent marriage that lasted 9 years, he had given all his love and companionship to Savannah. All he left me was endless tears and hurt. I lowered my head and said softly, Right, it's all in the past. Now, I didn't want to waste words on irrelevant people. William nodded, understanding. I'm taking you home. Overseas, I met some excellent doctors. I'll put together the best medical team for you. Once your body has recovered, we'll hold our wedding. I hugged the roses and shyly nodded. But this subtle gesture deeply stung Marcus. He followed us all the way. Unwilling to give up, he said, "You can't do this to me. Grace is my wife, she loves me. The person I once loved was indeed you, but you betrayed my love." I interrupted Marcus in a firm voice. "When our families arranged their marriage years ago, it was for a Vance and Shin family alliance, marriage. It didn't specify that I had to marry you. So, from this moment on, I am your sister-in-law. Please show the appropriate respect." In those initial years, I had also suffered and grieved over Marcus. I couldn't understand why a perfectly good person would become like this. Later, I gradually understood. The family was in decline, and Marcus looked down on me from the bottom of his heart. He knew I was bound by the marriage contract. No matter how much of a scoundrel he was, I would humbly beg him to remarry. So he hurt me recklessly. But he forgot that he wasn't the only son in the Vance family. I could choose him out of love, and I could leave him out of a lack of love. Marcus tried desperately to grab my hand. But's cold gaze forced him back. William carried an undeniable sense of deterrence. "Marcus, I admire your love for Mississippi. I hope you're prepared to bear the consequences of that love. I won't indulge you like grandfather does." With that, William started the car and drove away with me. Through the rearview mirror, I saw Marcus chasing the car, running wildly. Finally, he fell to the ground, helpless. William, beside me, glanced at me. He asked sourly, "What, feeling sorry for him?" I shook my head, looking at the large and small wounds on my body, and inexplicably felt like crying. "If only you had appeared sooner. If only I had known you liked me sooner. That way, I wouldn't have suffered so long in this loveless marriage. I wouldn't have ended up with all these injuries." William tightly pursed his lips, and after a long time, he slowly spoke. "Trust me, I will make up for the pain you've endured. I'll stand up for you." William took me back to the hospital for a full-body checkup. After getting the checkup report, he sat stunned for a long time. Although he didn't say a word, his eyes gradually reddened. He asked the doctors to tailor a nursing plan for me and meticulously noted every detail. He looked even more dedicated than Marcus did towards Savannah. After 2 days of recovery, William took me back to the estate. But this time, I had a completely fresh start. I was no longer the granddaughter-in-law who worked all day in the kitchen and wasn't even allowed to sit at the table for meals. William held my hand and confidently took a seat at the head of the table. When I returned to the country this time, besides taking over the Vance family, more importantly, it was for Grace. I married her not just for the family alliance, marriage, but because I've loved her since childhood. Whether you agree or disagree, I've already made my decision. Marcus dared not refute. The steak in his hand, however, was about to be shredded by his knife and fork. Grandfather coughed for a long while. "William, what you've done is a bit improper. Grace is your sister-in-law, and the woman Marcus truly loves. How can you disregard your own younger brother's feelings for the sake of one woman?" William slammed down his knife and fork. He looked around at everyone, then fixed his gaze on Marcus. These words, spoken by a Vance family member, are truly laughable. "Let me first tell you all how Grace and I reconnected." William told everyone. Marcus had abandoned me on a foreign street, causing me to be targeted by a criminal gang. A group of people cornered me in an alleyway, intending to knock me out and take me away. In that critical moment, William passed by and rescued me. He took me back to his residence and quietly stayed by my side. Only after I calmed down did he have his assistant contact Marcus. Marcus, upon learning of my ordeal, appeared very dismissive. Who would lay a hand on someone like Grace? "Next time something like this happens, tell her to take off her makeup. I don't need to get involved. All right, I'm busy, don't bother me with such small matters anymore." Deafening music and Savannah's seductive laughter came from the other end of the cell phone. His assistant looked at me awkwardly and with sympathy, and, sitting beside me, had a face so grim it could almost drip water. He gazed into my eyes and asked, word by word, "Grace, have you been living like this all these years?" Perhaps it was the lingering shock. Perhaps it was the too many grievances suppressed in my heart. Perhaps it was because I hadn't heard such caring words in too long. I burst into tears in front of William. I recounted everything I had experienced, exactly as it happened. That night, William, who never touched tobacco or alcohol, smoked cigars all night. He revealed the love buried deep in his heart for years. Grace, I liked you when I was very young, but I was afraid of disturbing your happiness with Marcus, so I could only take that feeling and go to a foreign country. I never imagined that scoundrel would treat you like that. If I had known, I would have married you no matter what back then. Grace, give me a chance to leave that scoundrel. Let me love you. I sat beside William, listening to his story. I felt a warmth I had never experienced before. I finally knew that in this world, there was still someone who loved me. And that someone like me was also worthy of being loved. William wanted to take me back to the country to get justice for me. I shook my head. My own affairs. I'll handle them myself. From then on, I made up my mind to leave Marcus. The family alliance, marriage, between the Vance and Shin families was set in stone, and I couldn't change it. But I could choose someone who loved me instead. So, William and I made an agreement. I would return to the country alone to deal with my situation with Marcus. After thoroughly ending that marriage, I would then be with William with a fresh start. Although it was challenging, fortunately, I succeeded. William said impassively, "You all know what Marcus has been doing all these years. It's just that you don't know the pain until you experience it yourself." But what did Grace do wrong? If my mother were watching from heaven, and learned everything she went through, wouldn't she accuse the Vance family of being treacherous and untrustworthy? I know the Vance family is protective of their own, and I'm no exception. You protect Marcus, I protect Grace. If anyone dares to bully her in the future, I will show no mercy. William's words were forceful and resonate. They moved me to tears. I held his hand tightly, unwilling to let go for even a moment. I didn't notice that Marcus, in the corner, also had red eyes. With protection, although the Vance family members were displeased, no one dared to show it. Marcus remained dejected for a long time. Suddenly, one day, he excitedly came to find me. "Grace, please don't be angry anymore. I've broken off all ties with Savannah. Let's start over. I promise you, this time I'll live a good life with you." Marcus handed me a miscarriage report. "I already made Savannah get the baby aborted. She won't affect our lives anymore. Don't be mad at me, let's reconcile." An unborn child became a flimsy piece of paper. It became Marcus's tool to win me back. I didn't take it, nor did I speak. I inexplicably recalled some past events. In the years I was with Marcus, he had apologized to me before. Sometimes, when he went too far or affected the family's businesses, grandfather would force Marcus to apologize. Each time, he would swear he would change. But before long, I would experience Marcus's even more cruel retaliation. Our feelings were exhausted through repeated hurts. Our trust completely collapsed through repeated betrayals and lies. I would no longer believe Marcus. And I would never forgive him. "Stop deluding yourself, Marcus. You know in your heart that we will never reconcile. I've already gotten my marriage license with your older brother. You should call me sister-in-law." Marcus stared at me silently. 2 lines of tears slowly slid down his cheeks. "How could you do this to me? 9 years of our relationship, and you make me watch you marry someone else. Do you know how I feel? How could I not know? Hadn't I been through this for 9 years? Watching in Savannah openly attend social events. Watching my husband give all his tenderness and favoritism to another woman. I was sad, I was in pain, and I doubted myself. To please Marcus, I meticulously managed the household and arranged daily meals. Every meal had to be different, never repeating. But everything I did only brought Marcus's ruthless mockery. Marcus's cold indifference made me realize, in front of someone who doesn't love you, all efforts are futile. So, I decided to withdraw my love and entrust the rest of my life to someone worthy. After listening to what I said, Marcus remained stunned for a long time. "I just said those things casually. I didn't think they would hurt you so deeply. Actually, many times, I wasn't annoyed with you. I just deliberately wanted to tease you." As he spoke, Marcus himself felt guilty. He lowered his head and pondered for a moment. Finally, he left in tears. However, Marcus still refused to give up. Every day, he tried new ways to create surprises for me. Sometimes, it was homemade meals. Sometimes, it was carefully selected designer bags. He would send one, and I would throw one away. Even so, it couldn't stem his enthusiasm. Finally, William could no longer tolerate it and sent Marcus. Half threat, half warning. "I've already dealt with your shady friends and everyone who bullied Grace. Considering you're my younger brother, I'll let you off this time. If you dare to appear in front of her again, I'll arrange an isolated island for you to spend the rest of your life on. My coldness and William's pressure forced Marcus to compromise. He only made one last request. He wanted to wait until after my wedding to leave. He wanted to see me in a wedding dress. William and I did not agree. The day we sent Marcus off at the airport, he cried like a child. Grace, I really know I was wrong. I bullied you because I liked you. If I had another chance, I definitely wouldn't do that. I calmly said, I've given you too many chances. 9 years of marriage, 10 times they had divorced and reconciled. All of them were chances I had given him. After seeing Marcus off, William and I officially held a wedding. William stood under the spotlight, smiling as he looked at me. I, wearing a magnificent wedding dress, walked step by step towards my own happiness. Thank you for watching today's story. If you liked this video, please like it and share it with friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.